7 p.m. I'd like to welcome you to our regular commission meeting for Tuesday, June 10th. If you would, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. The first item on this evening's agenda is to consider the minutes of the May 27th, 2025 meeting and the June 5th, 2025 agenda review.
I move we approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none. That motion carries. The next item this evening is to consider a proclamation declaring June as Pride Month in Newton. Danielle, were you?
Yes, I would like to call Molly to the podium to read the ordinance, or I'm sorry, the proclamation, and then the mayor will finish it up.
Okay.
Thank you. And maybe introduce yourself and your role in the community.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Molly Millsweiss. I'm a fourth-generation Newtonian, born and raised here, and a graduate of Newton Public Schools, K through 12. After college, I chose to return to start my career, and now I own a home here. I'm also a gay woman. When I was a student at Newton High, I witnessed both the hope and hostility that came when students started the first GSA, Gay Straight Alliance. I remember students forming a group in response called SAG, Straights Against Gays. It was painful, but it shaped me, and it's part of why this moment means so much. Today, I'm proud to see progress in the same small town that raised me. This Pride Month proclamation tells our LGBTQ community members, especially young people, that they are seen, valued, and welcome in Newton. Thank you for considering this. I hope you'll join me in celebrating the progress we've made and continuing to make Newton a more welcoming place for everyone. Now I'll read the proclamation. Whereas the city of Newton is a welcoming community and an exceptional place to live, learn, work, play, and raise a family, and whereas Newton recognizes the importance of equality and freedom, and whereas our nation was founded upon and is guided by a set of principles that includes that every person has been created equal, that each has rights to their life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that each shall be accorded the full recognition and protection of the law. And whereas the City of Newton's LGBTQ+ community are a vital part of all fields and professions and contribute to a stronger community. And whereas the City of Newton is dedicated to fostering acceptance of all its citizens and preventing discrimination and bullying based on sexual orientation and gender identity.
Now, therefore, I, Rich Stinnett, Mayor of the City of Newton, Kansas, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Pride Month in the City of Newton, Kansas, and urge citizens to recognize their contributions made by members of the LGBTQ+ community and to actively promote the principles of equality and liberty. So, I believe we have some comments.
Yes. Yesterday, Leroy and I spent some time together and we talked about several things. First, we talked about a program we launched that trains future elected officials, how cities, counties, and school districts operate. Our first session started this past January and it ran for 8 weeks. We now have 11 people that are much more prepared if and when they run for local elected office. And we plan to do it again this January and every January thereafter. As part of that program, especially at the city and county sessions, it was discussed what the best candidates are, and those are the ones that love their community and want to serve. And that political affiliation shouldn't matter. The common expectation for a city and county elected official should be their desire to serve and make their community a better place to live, work, and play. In looking at this, sitting commission, there's little doubt that doing good for Newton is the bond that holds this commission together. In every decision we make, if there's a disagreement, there's little doubt that both sides have what they think is the best interest of the community at heart, which pushes them towards the decision that they eventually made. And this is the reason when we disagree on things, we always reset to the thing we think is most important, and that's what is best for this community. The commission is assigned the responsibility for making decisions on behalf of the community, and it's our obligation to make decisions and vote on them when it pertains to setting policy, budgeting, employment of the city manager and the city attorney, financial oversight, and property management. It is also important that we seek and listen to public input, and we try to be very transparent in this process, and I think all commissioners do listen to public input and bring issues back to management that we feel like need attention. As commissioners, accepting that we have an obligation to make decisions that directly affect the future of Newton, Leroy and I also concluded that our passion is really for making the Newton community a better place to live, work, and play. And to do that, our passion should be for each and every citizen of Newton, no matter the color of their skin, their gender, sexual preferences, or their political ideals. We feel there's enough hate in the world without making a decision that will promote a split in our community by party lines. So we want to let all citizens know that because of how we feel about each and every citizen in our community, we choose to support what we think is best for the Newton community as a whole by declaring a conflict of interest each time that a vote is less about what's best for the community as a whole and more about satisfying one party or ideology over another. So people need to learn to love one another and work together. And tonight and every other night, Leroy and I will choose love for everyone in our community over things that divide us, especially when division isn't necessary. So for me, I will be declaring a conflict of interest on this issue since I represent everybody in the community, but I want you to know that we see you, we hear you, we value you, we respect you. And just like we do every other citizen in Newton, and we're not going to pick one group over the other. And it's sad that division exists, but it's here. But do know that we love you and we represent you, and we totally support anything that your group wants to do during Pride Month. Any comments, Leroy?
Well, I think you said it very well. Like you said, we talked this through extensively, and it just feels like that we don't need to make any more divisive conclusions or decisions any more than is already out there in the world, because I'm the same way. I love everybody in this community, every one of you, and you all have value, and I will be abstaining on my vote also. Thank you.
Any other?
I just will share that Rich and I have already talked about this together. We work well together, but he knows that I'm a no vote, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say any more that will charge up anyone or anyone's, but I do want you to know that I appreciate serving with Rich, and he's been a tremendous, made a tremendous contribution and does to the commission. But we agree to disagree in that area, and we work well together.
Anyone else?
I'm going to stand up. If I have two hands, I can clap
Sure.
really loud right now. Good job, good job. This is progress. It really is. And it's because of people like you that come forward, and groups like you that come forward and advocate for yourselves. And that takes a very strong person, people, to do that with leadership. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming forward, because that's the only way we're going to make that divisive stuff's going to, be reduced or eliminated at some point, hopefully down the road. But keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you.
I was told there was somebody in the audience that wanted to speak.
Good evening. My name is Betty Finnegar. My first meeting ever. I was not born and raised in Newton, so I have a little different perspective. When I read the proclamation, it was correct. This is a very welcoming community. I know when I moved here, I didn't know north and south and those directions. I came from a place where you go around the bend and around the curve and look for a billboard. So when I got lost, the people here were very, very friendly and helpful. So yes, it is a very welcoming community. However, I'm speaking against the proclamation tonight for two reasons. One, I just, to be perfectly honest, I answer to an authority that is not you all. And the proclamation is referring to a lifestyle. It is not referring to people. If the proclamation were referring to all people, I would be gung-ho. But it's singling out a specific set of lifestyle. And when you start to do that, then you start leaving out other lifestyles. And my maker says that this particular lifestyle is an abomination, and that's who I answer to, and I understand that everybody may not. He does love everybody, but he does not love all lifestyles. And I think it's a very slippery slope when you start to make a proclamation to celebrate a lifestyle rather than the people. So that's my first issue. My second issue is on a more personal note. And I think I've said I do agree that Newton is and certainly should be a welcoming community for everybody. Everybody has something to contribute. And again, just singling out a lifestyle is not right. I feel offended because if you pass a proclamation for one group of people and you don't pass a proclamation celebrating my lifestyle, then I'm somewhat offended by it. So that's what you get into. So why don't we have a proclamation, proud to be Newton? Proud to be Newton, which would honor people past and present who have made significant strides to make Newton the wonderful place that it is. We don't, that would encompass people of all kinds of lifestyles, all kinds of religious, political affiliations, and it would, in my mind, encompass everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, it's my turn. So,
I had something to say, if I could.
sir?
Yeah, I'm Kevin Finnegar, her husband. I lived here since mid-'70s in Newton, and I got a small business here. You probably see my truck around, a little yellow truck with the bugs on it. But yeah, I'm here. I'm concerned about the way that the fabric of the country is going, of course. And now we're having a proclamation, like for a certain group of people, like my wife said, is it's contrary to what God's plan is for people and how people are supposed to procreate and everything, how the general order is supposed to be. And it's just you know, like she said, I love everybody too. I love everybody. But this is just, I mean, I cannot condone something that, as you know, Lord says it's abomination to him, and I just can't say it's okay. I don't know. I'm not very good with words, but I just think it's a mistake. Like if you have a proclamation for different groups of people, like I'd like to see one for people missing in action, because I personally know 2 of them. Everybody's forgot about them, and one of them's local. I mean, Hillsborough, that's pretty local, and Burlington. But anyways, I'd like to see something made for them, like a whole month where people remember their lives, what they did, how much crap their families went through, because believe me, it ain't fun. But anyways, that's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
I would like to speak in support of the proclamation. I was born in Newton. I'm from Newton. My mom is from Heston and my dad's from Halstead, so Newton is like the middle ground there. And I grew up to realize that I was a lesbian. And over time, I have seen a lot of people like me live in Newton and leave Newton because they do not feel like this is somewhere where they are welcome to be their authentic selves. And that's why this proclamation is so important, because it tells people that we are working to make it a place where you can be your authentic self. And that's what sets this issue apart from declaring a proclamation for any sort of lifestyle, is that this lifestyle is specifically threatened in rural communities. And these people are specifically in danger both from the people around them and the degradation of their mental health when they live in a place that does not accept them. Because the fact of the matter is, I was born this way. I've tried to change it. I tried the religion thing. I tried to pray it away. I spent years trying to pray it away. But there is not a single thing that could change who I am. And I believe that I have a right to live in my hometown and to be loved in my hometown just as much as anyone else. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I just say, isn't it beautiful that we live in a country that's affirmed our individual rights, that every one of us has a right to be offended?
That's right.
Get over yourself.
That's right.
If your sexuality or your religious standing is so fragile that the mere sight of a rainbow flag or the acknowledgement that gay and lesbian people exist in our community, you have some real soul searching to do. On the contrary, you had your 3 minutes, sir. On the contrary, if you can put aside your fear of losing status, losing faith, losing votes, or for one moment and acknowledge your gay neighbor, your gay friend, your gay coworker, that gay human, then you truly can be a leader. You see, leaders sometimes have to put aside their fears, their goals, their ambitions to truly lead their organizations and their communities. Choose Newton. That's our centralized campaign and motto to draw industry, development, business, and families to our community. By approving this proclamation, just as you did last year, you would indeed be choosing Newton, all of Newton. Tonight, I ask you to put aside your fears and acknowledge a viable part of our community who is proud to have made it through the years of self-hate, of hearing the voices tell them that they are less than, that something is wrong with them. Whether you like it or not, there is a thriving LGBTQ+ community in Newton, Kansas, and we are not going anywhere. We are not going anywhere. No matter what is decided tonight, we are going to continue to contribute, to teach, to serve, and to lead. John 4:7, Dear friends, let us love one another. I call for a motion. We have a motion and a second.
Yeah, a motion we accept.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
Any abstains?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Let the record show. My apologies. The next item this evening is item number 3, special assessments. Donna?
Thank you for coming.
It's your turn.
Good evening. We are starting the process again of bonding for special assessments. These are the 4 Fox Ridge Edition Phase 1 projects, and then the Rolling Hills 7th Edition, which is better known as the First and Spencer traffic signal. The city will not pay for the Fox Ridge. Those will go to the owners of the land of each lot. The city will pay 66.67% of the construction costs for the traffic light per the agreement with the Quick Trip Corporation. What you need to do tonight is to approve the statement of final costs, the asset roll certification, and then approve the notice for the public hearing to be held on July 8th, 2025. The agenda has it in June, and that's wrong. And then you also, and you can all do this in one motion.
Okay, that was my question.
Yes. The last thing you will do will be to approve the form of notice of hearing and statement of cost that will go to each affected property owner in the assessment area. Each owner may pay the assessment in whole or in part on or before August 11th of this year. Any amount not paid within the period prescribed will be collected in 20 annual installments. Pretty soon there'll be some other projects coming that will bond all together, like the sanitary sewer lift for the Fox Ridge Edition, Quail Creek Avenue Extension, the NDV water line, and whatever other projects we can wrap up before August.
So do we need to update the public hearing notice date?
It's right in the documents. It's
Okay.
just on the cover
It's
sheet
just on
where it
the
has.
agenda.
right,
Just
Yeah.
wanted to make sure we're,
Yeah.
For sure.
all right.
And we'll be bonding between $5 and $6 million, depending on what gets finished. And the estimated debt service will be between $400,000 and $500,000.
June 19th?
That's the wrong date.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought-
July
Okay,
8th,
I'm sorry.
2025.
I was reading- Okay, thank you.
In the,
So if you have one motion to approve all 4 items.
And you can find the language for that motion on page 2 of the excerpt of minutes. There's those 5 bullets. So if one commissioner would kind of take the lead on making that motion and reading through those 5 items in a single motion, that'd be great for the record, if you see it.
So where you approve each document?
It would be, one is approve each document,
Oh.
5, exactly. If someone could make that motion, unless Donna's got anything else or you've got discussion, that's the motion we're looking for.
Yep.
I would make the motion that we approve each document established July 8th at 7:00 p.m. to meet the purpose of a hearing of any and all written oral objections to the respective assessments. Cause the city clerk to publish a notice hearing in Exhibit C in the official newspaper not less than 10 days prior to such public meeting. Mail the form of notice of hearing and statement of costs proposed to be assessed, Exhibit D, to each of the landowners affected by such assessments, and file each of the documents of record in the office of the city clerk and make the same available for public inspection.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries. Next item this evening is a temporary alcohol permit. Rebecca, you going to take the lead on that? Or Chris?
Sorry, just getting our ducks in a row over here. Tonight we have a temporary alcohol permit for the summer concert series that's on the lawn in front of the library. This has been presented to us by the Harvey County Now. The event will be similar to Blues, Brews, and Barbecue with the concert and the food trucks and all the other things. It's already been sent through to the state, so your approval tonight would just be the resolution itself.
Resolution number?
G1359.
I'd call for a motion.
I would move we approve G1359.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Hearing none, that motion carries. Next item this evening is to consider an engineering agreement with Garver for East First Street paving improvement. Ed?
Yeah, Commissioner, is this on?
There it is. Try it.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Better? No? Nothing?
Get your steps in.
Go ahead. Okay, thank you, Commission. As you know, the First Street project has kind of been a ongoing discussion between us and the county. At last Tuesday's county commission meeting, the county agreed to pay half of the design, up to $250,000. And so I'm presenting that to you and recommending that you approve that and allow me to sign any of the documents moving forward.
Awesome. Any discussion, questions for Ed?
I'm grateful that the county wants to be equal
Yes.
partners here.
Yep, that was good to
Very
hear.
much so.
So I would call for a motion to approve the agreement with Garver and provide authority to our Director of Public Works to
I
sign.
so move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item this evening is to discuss new hotel development incentives. Zach?
Good evening. We can go ahead and advance. There, thank you. Recruiting a hotel developer through smart incentives. Why a hotel? Well, we are on the rise with housing, retail, and community engagement growing. A hotel supports local economy, our visitors, business travel, and overnight tourism. We have a competitive disadvantage where we've missed some events due to limited lodging. We had some issues with the USGA when they were here for their adaptive open. The KSIAAI, that's a awesome acronym for our arsonists conference where there were 200 fire marshals supposed to possibly congregate to Newton, but they don't have enough rooms. So that's one of the challenges of the Meridian Center is being able to go after these events where, yes, we have the Holiday Inn Express next door to it, and that's great, but if it's full or if they need more than that or more options, that's just another thing of what we've missed with the missed events and missed opportunities. It's tied to our economic development goals of sustainable tourism-focused growth. What are we asking for today? No decisions, just a discussion. Are we even open to pursuing hotel development incentives? The permission to develop an incentive framework is what we're requesting, not committing to a project. Our intent is to align with Newton's strategic goals and the ED policy laid out in the ED policy criteria. If we were to do a new category, specific guidance may be needed for hotels. So what are our neighbors doing? Daniela could probably speak a little better to what McPherson's doing, but they've done a community improvement district, a CID, 2% for 22 years with a cap of $2 million. They've done IRB, 10-year, 100% abatement. They did a pilot payment in lieu of taxes program, 50% of property taxes for 10 years. And then they did a transient guest tax rebate of 50% for 8 years. City of Edgerton, they're really throwing everything at them. They've got the IRB at 10 years at 100%, TIF 50% for 20 years. They're doing a CID as well, 1% for 22 with no cap, and they're giving him the half of the transient guest tax for 20 years. Goddard's a little complicated because everything's tied up into the star bonds, so they just really maximize everything. So the IRBs, all that good stuff goes into the star bonds, so they're throwing CIDs at it, you name it. Talking to staff there, if they had a preference, they would have not done 100% 10-year abatement. They would have done like a tiered abatement of some sort. City of Andover, they did a tiered abatement, and in fact, they did a kind of a creative one where the 100% year was year 5. So it tiered up and then tiers back down, peaking in year 5. They did a CID 1% for 22 years, no cap, and then they did transient guest tax 1% to sunset with the IRBs in 10 years. So. What's that?
Could you go back to the slide?
Absolutely.
I want to clarify something. I know it's, I just want to point it out. I think it's obvious, but I need to address it. The pilot for McPherson, so you have a CID and an IRB with a percentage of transient guest tax. The pilot is the payment back to the city. So they did 3 incentives with a 50% of property tax coupled with the IRB. I just wanted to point that out, that of all 4.
They could get a stronger CID, they could get their transient guest tax at 50% for 8 years, and they could get their IRB, but they had to give back 50% of the taxes that would have been drawn in had they not been part of the IRB and all of that.
Thank you.
I'm very glad you were here to clarify that, so thank you. Where could a hotel go?
Have they been successful?
That's where I was going to let him get to the end, and I'm going to ask that question as well.
We can wait.
Yeah, I can roll back to those communities. Let me get through my presentation and we can come back to that. Where could a hotel go? We've identified the I-35 corridor, property next to the South Dillons. There's property next to Applebee's. There's property next to south of the Meridian Center. So there's a couple spots along the I-135 corridor that we could utilize near downtown. We did like a boutique hotel downtown to support rail travel and revitalization efforts. The Occidental property, they're considering what a boutique hotel would look like on the property to help with the golf course and the hospital service. So what we want to find, though, is locations with the existing infrastructure because that equals reduced city cost. And it aligns to our policy with infrastructure and site readiness standards. So that's that shovel-ready stuff we're looking for. When would we move forward? Well, this is pretty easy today. We're going to talk about it, hopefully. And if there's, depending on feedback, we would look to bring some sort of package to you to approve, hopefully this summer. And then once that's done, we're ready to shop and market the approved incentive package to qualified developers. This would align with our core values. Growth, visitor revenue, offsets public cost, enhanced recruitment, supports events, businesses, travel, and local commerce. It ties to our policy with direct alignment with core values and goal statements. And then our why. Don't look at this as giving it away. You're investing in our community. You're not just giving away tax dollars. You're investing those tax dollars. Communities winning hotels offer smart, structured incentives. And that's just kind of let's make Newton competitive for regional hospitality. The incentives framework proposal, the CID, the IRB, the TIF, the pilot, all those tools cited are allowable under our current economic development incentive policy. If you were to do something with the transient guest tax sharing, that would require a policy amendment. Check me if I'm wrong on that, Chris, but would it?
It may.
Okay.
We wouldn't have to amend it. We could just vote to do it.
Yeah, I think to have everything line up, though, if we are changing policy, maybe. We'll take a look at it for sure. Okay. But you can absolutely do it. You're right.
Request to the commission is to endorse an exploration of hotel incentive framework, authorize staff to engage with qualified developers, provide policy guidance on which tools are preferred. Are there deal structures that are off the table that you don't want to consider? And then the call to action is to shape the framework together.
Are you done?
I'm done now. We can go back to the.
I didn't want to
what else?
derail you, but Rod is right in thinking where I wanted to know on those communities, if you could roll back to those.
So,
Hold on.
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And you may not be able to answer it today, but first of all, I'd like us to get this slide deck because we don't have this
Absolutely.
slide deck. And then provide with the slide deck when they put these policies into effect and what progress they've had since.
Yeah.
Can do that.
Kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah, I was thinking, did they lead with this, or did they go talk to people and end up negotiating towards this?
I'm finding that the developers or the property owners, like people like Occidental, the owners there south of Applebee's, the property owners, they're going to talk to hotels, and the hotels are like, well, what's your city's offering? So then it's just, they don't have another way to advance it, so they have a way to eliminate us or put us to the back burner. But I can come up with if they've been successful, and when
And the question is did they start with this?
Right.
Or is this where they landed? So like maybe they might have started 6 years ago with something that looked totally different than this. But this is where they've landed and have been successful.
Yeah, let me follow up with
property types. I think you hit on it. If we're considering any sort of small hotelier, boutique hotelier, we definitely would need to have a different approach to that. But I think this would also be a good place to put in how we may redevelop existing properties.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, it just,
let's do the work.
yeah, it just makes sense to move forward because this is kind of the missing link or the missing piece to all of it. Because we just, how many times have we heard in the last 3 or 4 years? There's just not enough rooms. And so they have to take their business south. And, yeah, we definitely need to pursue this.
All right. So
Anything else for Zach?
I think I got my marching orders.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Donna, was there anybody on the clipboard?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sure. No one? Sure.
Lori Hartke. I can forgive you three for your misunderstanding, for your feelings. Some of my favorite people, family and friends, are gay. I think you guys just don't understand. But I will say, you three have lost my vote. Thank you.
I think we have an executive session.
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, but if we get a motion to add an executive session, and we would make it short, I think we would need roughly 5 minutes on it. So a motion to add the executive session, and then if we could get a motion on that executive session, assuming it's.
So I'll call.
I move we add the executive session to the agenda.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to add an item to the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. And motion carries. All right, we'll call for executive session.
And how long?
5 minutes, rounded up, so
Okay.
7:45.
So
7:45.
7:45. I move that the city commission recess into executive session to conduct discussions with legal counsel. The justification for closing the meeting is to consult with city attorney to discuss matters privileged under attorney-client relationship, and the time and place at which the open meeting shall resume is 7:45 here in commission chambers.
we have a motion. Second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. We're now in executive session. where no action was taken. And with that, there are no other items on this evening's agenda. We will go around the horn. Anything?
No,
Sure.
not tonight.
I don't have anything.
Danielle?
I just want to remind Megan the audit findings. We had an impromptu audit, so if she doesn't mind giving an update, we have some great news. Sorry, a
Nobody's
safety
going to
audit,
jail?
not a financial audit. Safety audit.
Donna's
What?
like, I.
It's not done yet.
There it is.
There you go.
So we had the Kansas Department of Labor come and do their safety audit. They haven't been here since 2018. And it was the first one that I've been a part of, so I was very nervous. And they were so impressed with what they did not find that they have recommended that we apply for the SHAPE Award, which is a really exciting award that municipalities can get for exemplary safety standards. So we'll take a look at all of the qualifications for that award and submit for that. The auditor, his boss usually wants him to find anywhere from 15 to 20 things at any given municipality when they do searches or inspections, and they struggled to find 2 here at ours. So
Kudos.
so our staff are, so they started here in City Hall, and then we went over to the service center and met with water, wastewater, and then with street sanitation. And then we went over to Fire Station 2. And then we went out to the wastewater treatment facility, and he said, I don't need to waste any more time. You guys are fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Kudos to everybody.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's incredible. That's good.
Donna?
Nope.
No, sir.
Just a couple quick things. As a reminder, you have a work session that Megan's been working very hard with on Thursday to hear from our the results of our salary study. So as a reminder, that agenda went out late this morning.
5 p.m.?
5 p.m.
Yeah.
That's probably it.
Sir? No, sir. Nothing. With that, we are adjourned.